problem from weekly contest 103. The problem definition is that we are given an integer array nums and an integer k. In one operation, we can choose any item from our nums array and add or subtract any item from -k to +k range. We can apply this operation at most once for each index I. The score of nums is the difference between maximum and minimum element in nums. Return the minimum score of nums after applying the mention operation at most once for each index in it. Now let's see the example to better understand the problem definition. Here we are given an array 0 and 10 and an integer k, which is 2. According to the problem, we can add or subtract any number between -2 to +2 to any item of our nums at most once to make the difference between the minimum and maximum number of our nums array minimum. So here we can change the number to 0 to 2 and 10 to 8, and the score of maximum nums and minimum nums will be 6. Here I have two examples. For both of them, the value of k is 2, which is from -2 to 2. Now initially what comes to mind is that we need to find the average for our given array. So let's find the average. For this one the average is 5, and for this one the average is 5.5. So we can round 5.5 to 6. Now the idea is that if we can make every item from our array as close as possible to our average, then we can minimize the difference between the minimum and the maximum number of our array. So let's do that. For 0 we're going to add the maximum number that we can, that is 2, so our result will be 2. For 3, to make it 5, we can add 2, so this is going to be 5. For 5 we are just going to add 0 because it is already same to our average. So for 7 we're going to subtract 2 so that it become same to our average. For 10 we're going to subtract 2 and it will become 8. So and for this case we're going to just add 1 to 5, then this is going to become 6, and we are going to add 0 to 6 and this is going to be 6. So the result will be 8 minus 2, that is 6, and for this case 6 minus 6, that is 0. But from this exercise what we can see that what we need is the maximum and the minimum, and to find the maximum and minimum we have used the maximum and minimum from our initially given array, that is 0 and 10. All the middle points are not necessary to find our result. So what we can do is find the minimum of our array and add k to that, because that is the maximum value we can add. And similarly we can find the maximum of our array and subtract k, because k is the maximum value, so subtracting k from the maximum is going to give us the minimum value that we can find here. And those two values are what we need to get the result. Then what will be the case for this one? Because if we add 2 to 5, then 5 plus 2 becomes 7, and if we subtract 2 from 6, then our result is going to be 4. But in this case 4 minus 7 is minus 3, so that is not our result. So what we have seen that initially our minimum is 5, and that's become greater than our maximum, that is 7. Like as 7 is greater than 6, so we can say that if that is the case, if we can overshoot our maximum by adding the maximum number that we can add, then our result is going to be 0. Now let's see how we can code this up. I'm getting the maximum of numbers and subtracting the maximum value that we can subtract, that is k, and I'm getting the minimum of numbers and adding the maximum value that we can add, that is k. Now if maximum is overshooted by minimum, that is minimum becomes greater than maximum, in this case we know that our answer is 0, because we can overshoot maximum uh, by minimum by adding and subtracting. In that case we can actually get all the numbers to the same number, the average of the numbers, and so our result, the difference between the numbers, is going to be 0, so we are going to return 0. And if that is not the case, then the result is just the difference between the maximum and minimum. Now let's see if this one works or not. Yeah, this is accepted.